Sustainable Development Goals SDGs and Scope of Social Work Interventions. The paper is written by Dr. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor, Faculty of Social Work, Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat. Ms. Neha Dubey, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Social Work, Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat. Background are a collection of 17 goals, global goals, set by a United Nations 2015 for year 2030. The goals are broad and interdependent. The 169 targets are measured with 232 indicators. The SDGs covered social, economic, and environmental development. Issues including poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, clean water, sanitation, affordable energy, decent work, inequality, urbanization, global warming, environment and social justice and peace. Goal number 1, no poverty. Economic growth must be inclusive to provide sustainable jobs and promote equality. People live in poverty if they lack basic services such as healthcare, security, and education. They also experience hunger, social discrimination, and exclusion from decision making process. The food and agriculture sector offers key solution for development and is central for hunger and poverty eradication. We should end hunger and all forms of malnutrition, accomplished by doubling agriculture productivity and incomes of small-scale food procedures, especially women and indigenous people. By ensuring sustainable food production systems and by progressively improving land and soil quality. Other targets deal with maintaining genetic diversity of seeds, increasing access to land, preventing trade and Goal 3, good health and well-being. Ensuring healthy lives and promoting the well-being for all the ages is essential to sustainable development. Aims to reduce 5 mortality, aims to reduce maternal mortality, aims to achieve universal health coverage including access to essential medicines and vaccines, to end epidemics such as AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and waterborne disease. Goal 4, quality education. Obtaining a quality education is the foundation to improving people's lives and sustainable development. Access to education, specifically at the primary school level for both boys and girls. The number of out of school children. Goal 5, gender equality. Gender equality is not only a fundamental human right but a necessary foundation for a peaceful purposes and sustainable world. Providing women and girls with equal access to education, healthcare, decent work, and the representation in political and economic decision making processes will nurture sustainable economies and benefit societies and humanity at large. Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. 8 targets and 11 indicators. The first 3 targets relates to drinking water supply and sanitation. Toilets, equitable sanitation, hand washing facility, behavior change. Clean accessible water for all is an essential part of the world we want to live in. Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. Energy is central to nearly every major challenge and opportunity. Access to affordable and reliable energy, increasing the share of renewable energy, improving energy efficient and enhancing international cooperation to facilitate more open access to clean energy technology and more investment in clean energy infrastructure. Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. Sustainable economic growth will require societies to create a condition that allow people to have equality jobs, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. to reduce youth unemployment and operationalize a global strategy for youth employment. Goal 8, industry innovation and infrastructure. Build resilient infrastructures, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, foster innovation. Investment in infrastructure are crucial to achieving sustainable development. Reduce inequalities policies should be universal in principle, paying attention to the needs of disadvantaged and the marginalized population. Reduce income inequality within and among countries. Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. There needs to be a future in which a city provides opportunity for all, with access to basic services, energy, housing, transportation, and more. The target for 2030 is to ensure access to safe, affordable housing. Movement from rural to urban areas has accelerated as the population has grown and better housing alternatives are available. Goal 12, responsible production and consumption. Responsible production and consumption include using eco-friendly production methods and reducing the amount of waste. National recycling rate should increase as measured in tons of materials recycled. Further, companies should adopt a sustainable practices and publish sustainability. Goal 13, climate action. Climate change is a global challenge that affects everyone everywhere. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts by regulating emissions and promoting developments in renewable energy. Goal 14, life below water. Careful management of these essential global resources is a key feature of a sustainable future. Conserve and sustainability use the ocean, seas, and marine resource for sustainable development. The targets include preventing and reducing marine population and acidification, protecting marine and coastal ecosystem, and regulating fishing. Life on land. Sustainably manage forest, combat desertification, halt and reserves land degradations, halt biodiversity losses. Protect, restores, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem. Sustainability manage forest, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity losses. This goal articulates a target for preserving biodiversity of forests, desert and mountain and ecosystem as per percentage of total land. Goal 16, peace, justice and strong institution. Access to justice for all and building effective accountable institution at all levels. Promote peace and inclusive societies for sustainable development. Provide access to justice for all and build effective and accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels. Reducing violent crime, sex trafficking, forced labors, and child abuse are clearly global goals. Goal 17, partnerships of the goals. Revitalize and global partnership for sustainable development. Strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Now here the scope for the social work intervention for the sustainable development goals is social worker can relate to this agenda 2030 at the national, regional and global levels. The SDGs bring an interconnections understanding of human needs and concern that are economic, social need and in environment, economic, social and environmental. Five strategies namely promote social and economic equalities, ensuring the dignity and worth of the person, promote sustainable communities and environmentally sensitive development, promote well-being through sustainable human relationship and ensure appropriate environment for practice and education. A need for a clear and unreserved commitment to the promotion and protection of human rights and to the satisfaction of fundamental aspiration. It is clearly stated that the greater knowledge and the understanding of human rights will improve the action and intervention of social work professionals. In the SDG documents, there is specific reference to respect, protect, and fulfill all human rights, and fundamental rights are enjoyed by all without discrimination. In addition, there is a very strong emphasis on gender equality and empowerment. The SDG and social work values concur. For instance, the Agenda 2030 uses terms such as human dignity, inclusivity, respect, diversity, equality, and non-discrimination, empowerment, reliance, resilience, and self-help, and resilience of full potential. Social workers identify with these values for the practice. There is also a close parallel between social work target groups and those identified in the SDG agenda. Among the specific target groups are the women, children, youth, persons with a disability, old persons, indigenous people, integrally disabled people, migrants, and refugees. The UN Agenda 2030 is the milestone agreement. Never before in a history has a total of 193 nations established agreed upon the one common agenda. The SDG consists of the three thematic pillars: social, economic, ecological changes, defining 17 goals, 169 indicators to address change. All goals and indicators are equal rank and interrelated, but their relevance for action varies country and between the geographic regions. The interrelation means that in the every change of development, the social, economic, and economical uh, ecological achievements shall be included equally. For instance, no economic goals without social and ecological impact is inequal. Moreover, social development goals are now part of global language among governments, multilateral organization, non-governmental organization, NGOs, and the business sector. Social workers around the world are already taking an active part working with their communities to achieve transformational change, as published by IFSW in the Global Agenda reports. Further, social workers publication and demonstrated in many contribution during the World Social Work Days. How social workers contribute to UN SDGs. Social work definition of the SDGs. To ensure an effective use of the instrument the UN SDGs provide to the social work and vice versa, it is important to clarify social work's very own definition and understanding of the term sustainability development and goals, particularly because social work is giving this mandate to itself. Sustainability, social workers understand sustainability as a partners and policies that establish long-term solution for the well-being of the entire ecosystem, including humans and nature of current and future generations. Sustainability includes way if we can reduce aspect of our ecological footprint or consumptions patterns to decrease the harm and injustice from the occurring in the first place. An ecologically footprint is an estimate of an burden we place on our world as we consume energy, food, land, and water. Climate change represents an essential global subject. Climate change has now uh, become a very unprecedented nature catastrophes must be expected. It is clear that the planet has undergone water, land, and air contamination from travel, industrial population, toxic agriculture practices, soil erosions, de- desertification, and destructions of the natural environment generally. Therefore, to have a healthy circle at people give back to nature as much as they take, that should be global goal to reach. In its policy paper on globalization and the environment, IFSW calls to develop environmental responsibility and care for the environment in social work practices and manage today and for future generation to work with other professionals to increase our knowledge and with community groups to develop advocacy skills and strategies to work towards a healthier environment and to ensure that environmental issues gain increased presence in social work education. Development, the best for people, the whole society, peace, planet must be the focus of all activities. Profit of the minor amount of the people on the shoulders of the majority of people is a negative sign of economic only driven development. For social worker, development is not understood in an economic sense, nor should it define an underdeveloped group or society that ought to normatively reach the level of any other developed group or society. Development is a dynamic, all inclusive process of change within the person, groups, or society pursuing seeking well being for both people and planet. Social worker consider various theories such as the capabilities approach, taking into account historical, cultural, and environmental underpinning of societies. Therefore, the social workers' actions are driven by principles of development to reach freedom and well-being. The word development and transformation are closely linked. While development is a process-oriented aim of transformation is a complete change to a unprecedented order to be a sustainable and best possible positive outcome for all. A holistic society approach where communities are involved in all steps of creation, planning, acting, and evaluation. Goals. Social workers have created their very own goals according to IFSW, Social Work Global Agenda. The global definition of social work, the statement of ethics, and the policy paper all express our understanding of the needs and purpose of social work action. Our social work approach mainly creates a goal in a participatory manner from bottom up and community and the people driven, including the knowledge and the needs from people. Leave on one behind. Partnership, a basic principle in social work for a social worker. To partner means us sharing knowledge and insight and collaboratively and coherently creating and establishing solutions. It is in the IFSW visions and ethical principle that the social work profession fulfill its obligation in working strategically with other partners. IFW members already work jointly with UN agencies and governments, enabling engagement between communities, the SDGs, and other United agendas together with individuals, groups, and the civil society. Social workers are building the bridge between theory and practices and between local and national authorities. Analyzing the structural underpinning is necessary to protect communities and to take unique responsibility for social work to share the part. Bottom up and top down. Social workers understand that the combinations of their bottom up approach along with the UN SDGs more top down approach represent the great potential to bridge the gaps between government regulatory efforts, that is policy paper, global agendas, the practice, daily work with people and civil society's operational implementation. Global policies and agendas also have financial implications and vice versa. Therefore, the current inequitable global capitalism has to be transformed to new sustainable global financial system that bans exploitation of both people and planet, that is based on solidarity, fairness, and the better of the whole society and an environment. The social worker will continue to promote social change and social development, standing against exploitation of people and nature and against the unjust structures that allow for wealth and concentration in hands of few. COVID 19 The aftermath of the pandemic, the world after COVID-19 pandemic presents itself a vastly different from the world at the time when the SDG agenda was set in 2015. The COVID-19 pandemic has now superimposed itself as a driver of the global economic future. It has provoked unprecedented social change. After at the same time, the issue of the climate social change issue of the climate justice has emerged as the another major factor, so that the three pillars are enormously visible and important. The visibility on the work of the social work profession will rise. This requires that the IFSW continues to address the task ahead and support these global movements on the previously agreed support of the SDGs. To sum up, IFSW's goals should be aligned with the UN SDGs because of their value for the global transformation to a just, fair world, with the vision of leaving no one behind. The vast potential and the global accord to the UN SDGs outweigh much of their outcomings, making them an unprecedented agreed instrument for action on every level. Thank you.